Hello everyone and welcome back to another Storytime video. Today I am going to be talking about my first day of college since school is starting up soon. I know the Monday before this past Monday, the high school that I graduated from returned to school themselves. And I think, what was it? It was either this week or next week. I think the Miami school system goes back to school. And I know a lot of states like Wisconsin and Michigan go back the Tuesday after Labor Day. So the day after. So a little under 2 weeks from now. But regardless, I thought that it would be appropriate to talk about it today. So, yes, I'm gonna do that. Okay, so, I have briefly mentioned it before in a Storytime video or two, but I study IT in school. So I study networking, basic hardware, software stuff with the computer and other electronic devices. Basically, the tech field. So I did not go the traditional college route because I wanted to study IT, and it's kind of hard to do that at traditional colleges. You can do it, but at the smaller tech school I go to, it certainly helps. So okay, I could make a separate Storytime video on this alone, but the wait list for me to get into school was so long. It was so long. Like, I waited so freaking long. But I'm not going to dive into that. I can dive into that another time, like I said. But, I finally knew that I was going to go to school a month and a half before school actually started. So they gave me about 6 weeks. And I was working at the factory that I talked about earlier this summer. And I told them a month in advance, but I'm kind of loosely telling stuff that is not really important to the story that much. But when I was notified that I was going to go to school, I was working at the factory that that I've talked about, like I said. But pretty much from then on, when I knew I was going to go to school, I was nervous, but I could not wait. That was not as long a 6 weeks as I thought it would be, but I have definitely had month and a half intervals that were a lot shorter in my mind. That just flew by. That 6 weeks did not fly by. So after the 6 weeks go by, eventually, I go to the school, and thankfully, the door we enter in from the parking lot is right next to the classroom that I am in, or that I have class in. So I asked a gentleman who turned out to be my teacher, I was like, "Is this the IT room?" He was like, "Yes, this is the IT room." So I was like, "Great." And so originally we had rows uh, of desks, like your typical, I would call it science classroom layout. I know that was the way it was for my science classes in high school, especially my biology class. I distinctly remember that layout. My physical science class, yes, I do pretty well actually. Now that my memory's jogged, and that they were like the same tape. They the tables looked the same. Maybe they got moved that summer in between because those were two different school years. That's beside the point. Anyway, so of course, since no one really knows each other, we are sitting. No one is sitting directly next to each other, and that there's always a chair in between everybody, and that in some instances there are two chairs between people. So, of course, I am nervous, and I'm sure a lot of my classmates were nervous their first day as well. But the we wait for the teacher to come back in the class because whenever we pretty much all walked into the class, the teacher had to do something. So after the teacher does something, does the thing that he needed to do, he comes back in the class, and we okay. I kind of malfunctioned there for a second. Sorry about that. So I I started to like him right off the bat and started to really respect him right off the bat because he said pretty much word for word that he was not going to do the cheesy thing of asking people about themselves, like uh just your generic first day things. I don't quite remember because they were awful, so I don't quite remember. It was kind of those things. I guess it's like, oh, what's your favorite this? What's your favorite that? Let's find out more about you. Since you just walked in here, you know. Uh, well, not just walked in here, but since you're gonna be in this class, why don't we get to know you? Uh, so he said that instead of doing that, he asked us all why we're there. And is that question has a lot more substance and a lot more meaning to it. And teachers should really ask that, especially of high schoolers, and high schoolers especially if they're taking an elective. Like an elective I took my senior year in high school, for example, health science. So the health science teacher on my first day of senior year could have been like, why did everyone choose this elective? But regardless, everyone answered. I don't remember everybody's response because there were like 16 of us, but someone asked my teacher why he was here, and my teacher just likes to teach, and I think he basically said that he wants people to be the best IT people that they can be. I'll get back to him in a minute. The teacher anyway, not my classmate particularly, but after that, we did some binary before lunch. Now, if you don't know what binary is the ones and zeros that you commonly associate with a computer language, and how basically gave us the foundations of first day things. So that's what we talked about the first day. And then we had lunch. Now, unfortunately, my school is not big enough to have a cafeteria, so I have to go out and get food like every day. Either that or I bring it in, or on Fridays there are food trucks that come to the school, and we have gotten food trucks to come to the school on Mondays and Wednesdays before. That stopped for a month because the Monday truck, they only have like 3 employees, so they can't really manage, and they need more people to run the truck. And the Wednesday truck that we had, the woman that runs it found a job, so she doesn't have enough time to run the food truck. But like I said earlier about the wait list, that is another story that I can talk about another time. So, but essentially I have to go out and get lunch or bring it if a food truck does not come. So, after lunch, I think we got some of the old computers that were donated to the school, and we basically took them apart. Well, old desktop computers, I should say that, because some components on a laptop are soldered on. Like, I believe your NIC in a laptop is soldered on, so you can't replace that. If it's not a NIC, it's something else that's soldered on that I can't quite remember at the moment. But on a desktop, you can take it off and take it out. So we did that for the rest of the day. We did not do anything that crazy. But part of the reason why I was nervous is because going into this class, I did not have a whole lot of experience when it comes to computers. I mean, sure, I use a computer for YouTube and stuff, but that's mainly YouTube. I did not know anything about the command line or how to give permissions on folders and files. I did not know about the different USB types. I did not know about binary until after the first day. So there's a lot that I didn't know about that I didn't know about, but I pretty much figured that, but to what extent I did not know. So that's part of the reason why I was nervous. Also, part of the reason why I was nervous is because I had never been to college before. And for me, it was a totally new experience for me. And of course, when it's a brand new experience for me, like going to college, I it's I'm I I get nervous. So, of course I knew that I was nervous and that I was going to get nervous, but after the first day I was like, "Hey, this isn't as hard as I thought it would be." Now, I thought that we would get like nonstop assignments and it would just be paperwork after paperwork after paperwork, assignments after assignments after assignments, uh, just boring assignments. But you know, my teacher is a pretty good teacher in the sense that he makes assignments so that we can learn, not because it's college and he just feels like he has to give us stuff. He gives us meaningful stuff where we can learn. Like there's things in terms of networking and security and just learning about the basic hardware and software, A plus, that I got a lot better understanding of because of an assignment and stuff that I had to look up. And he also makes it fun. Like we do exercises out of the book. Like uh we did one with Wireshark the other day, for example. I think Monday or Tuesday we did one with regards to Wireshark, and that was a fun little exercise that took us like 10 or 15 minutes, but it was fun. It was not, hey, do this essay about the evolution of hard drives or how to give permissions using NTFS. That is kind of what I thought it would be, was essays and just having to write a whole bunch of papers that would seem very monotonous. But my teacher makes it very fun. And so I really enjoy this class. And I have told him this before, that I really enjoy his class and I really respect him. And I realize he tries to make it as fun as possible. So, before you say, oh, well, you should tell him all this stuff, he would love it. I do. And I try to say that I appreciate it, like a nice comment or him giving us a bit of leniency or giving us a great assignment every single time. I try to do that because I don't know if he particularly wants my feedback, but he doesn't mind my feedback, and I'm sure that it doesn't hurt to give feedback because he wants us to enjoy the class as well. And I feel like that kind of helps. So trust me, I do tell him all the stuff that I just said. So, but if you are beginning your first day of maybe even elementary school, but middle school, high school, college, graduate school. The best advice I can give you is just enjoy yourself. Try not to be nervous, though. I get that it's human nature to get nervous. I I tried not to get nervous, but it's just who I am for me to get nervous. But you're going to be okay. Just try to enjoy your class, because the more you enjoy your class, the more you will learn, and the more that class will be beneficial to you and your future, especially if you are in college or in a graduate school. It will really help you out. So, yeah, that's all I want to say about my first day of college. I Before I end it off, though, I do want to say that I am so grateful that I have the chance to go to college as well, because I realize that not everyone has had the chance to go to college. Whether they did not quite make the grades in high school they wanted to get into the specific college they wanted, or maybe they just don't have enough money to go to college, or maybe they just had kids and couldn't really go to school or go to college because they were too busy trying to be the best parent that they can be. I know I know there were a couple people like that. A couple coworkers like that. That I had while I was working in the factory. And since I've left, I know one of them has been able to go back to school, and I think she's now a nurse officially. I think she's graduated that program that she went to finish her to get her nursing degree, and I think she's an actual nurse out in the field right now. But that should tell you that regardless of how much life experience you have, I don't really like to call people old, regardless of your age, you can always go back to school and better yourself. But yes, so that's all I wanted to say today. And see us, guys! I do believe that will do it for this storytime video. And till next storytime video, I will see you all later. Goodbye, guys! Thank you all for watching.